Good luck.
Merhaba arkadaşlar, hepiniz IEFT Talks webinarlarına hoş geldiniz. Bugün İngiltere'nin en iyilerinden King's College London'da eğitim fırsatları ve başvuru koşullarını Paulina'dan dinliyoruz. Lütfen sorularınızı questions kısmından sormayı unutmayın. Yes, Paulina, the stage is yours now.
Hi, good morning and good afternoon and welcome to King's College London seminar. My name is Paulina. I'm part of the international team and I'm here today to host this session for you. What I'm going to talk to you about is some information about King's College London, some information about studying at King's, and of course information about application process for both undergraduate and postgraduate students. The presentation should take around half an hour, and we're going to have another half an hour to answer any questions you might have. So please do type in any questions during our presentation, type them into the question tab. I also shared a link in the chat room. This is a link to sign up for our newsletter. So that's for us to keep in touch with you, to let you know about any other events that we have and send you any information that might be relevant to you and your application. So I would suggest signing up for that as well. So we're going to start from some information about the college. King's is quite a large university. We have almost 34,000 students. Just like London, where we are based, we are very international, with almost half of our students coming from outside of UK. We're also very diverse. We have students from over 185 different countries on our campuses. And this is really exciting because you will be in the classroom with people from very different backgrounds, different religions, different outlook on the world, different upbringing, which means you're not only learning from your teachers, but you're also learning from your peers. And of course, it's very exciting to be able to network with people from around the world, but it's also nice to be able to meet students from your own country and create a little bit of a home away from home in London. And that's definitely going to be possible at King's with our almost 200 students that came to us from Turkey. So some reasons why you might know King's or why you might want to choose King's. We are a college with a lot of history and legacy. So we're actually fourth oldest in UK after Cambridge, Oxford, and UCL. And if you look at our alumni, you're going to see Olympic medalists, Nobel Prize winners, you're going to see politicians, scientists. So it's a very exciting international community of alumni. You are going to be joining forever if you graduate from King's. And we also, our research is also a very important part of our life at King's. And throughout the years, there have been some groundbreaking research that happened on our campuses. For example, DNA or discovery of DNA. And on our campus in Strand, you can stand in the very spot where the DNA have been photographed for the very first time. But also research that led to the development of mobile phones or radio. I've already mentioned about how diverse we are, something that we're very proud of. We have been voted 11th most international university in the world. And we currently have 5 campuses in London, and I'm going to talk you through where those campuses are. So we're starting our virtual walk at number 1. Number 1, this is our Strand Campus. It's based beautifully on the bank of River Thames. For those who visited London, this campus is very short walk from Leicester Square and Covent Garden. And if you're thinking of studying arts and humanities, politics and social sciences, or if you're thinking of joining our Faculty of Law or Faculty of Engineering, this is going to be your home. Now, if you cross the road at number 2, this is our business school. This is quite a new business school. We only had it open for a few years, and the building where we are based now, that used to be a BBC World News. So very old historical building. It's where Winston Churchill did his speeches during the Second World War, and now it is where our business students get to work. So if you're thinking of doing finance, economics, business management, international management, HR, marketing, all of those students will be based at number 2. And now if you cross the bridge and you walk for about 10-15 minutes, you will get to number 10. Number 10 is our Waterloo campus, which is based beautifully right behind London Eye at number 6. Waterloo campus is for those who want to do physics, chemistry, computer science, or for example, nursing. Now, if you turn right and you walk for further 10 minutes, you will get to number 13 and 15. This is Santomas Hospital, part of Santomas Campus. This is one of our medical campuses, and this campus is based right across the water from probably the most well-known landmark of London, which is Big Ben and Houses of Parliament. Now, if you turn around and you walk away from the river for about 20 minutes, you will get to number 16 and 18. This is Guy's Hospital, which is a very famous teaching hospital in London and part of Guy's Campus. Guy's Campus is the main medical campus, so anyone wanted to biomedical sciences, medicine, dentistry, sports science, all of those medically related degrees will be based at this campus. We have one more campus, which is called the Institute of Psychology, Psychiatry and Neuroscience. You can see a picture of this campus on the bottom corner of this page, and this is the only campus that is based slightly outside of central London. It's about 20-25 minutes by bus or train towards south of the city. So we are based right in the heart of London. Now, what are the benefits that this location offers to our students? Firstly, we're able to welcome some very prominent visitors onto our campuses. You can see on the picture Queen Elizabeth II visiting our business school. We had other members of royal family. We also had famous politicians. For example, Hillary Clinton came last year to talk about women in the workplace. But I think most importantly, there is a number of industry specialists and industry leaders who are either based in London or they visit London on a regular basis, and they come to our campuses to take part in our events and give speeches and guest lectures to our students. We also partnered with some very well-known institutions. You can see the one on the picture, that's of course British Museum, and some of our history students get to work with the artifacts that are based in British Museum. Some of our sports science students work with European Space Agency and British Air Force to develop conditioning programs for pilots and astronauts. So we really have those partnerships across different degrees, across different disciplines with the very well-established institutions that give us and our students an edge. We also linked with some professional bodies that are also based around us. Those of you who want to study law might recognize this building. This is the Royal Courts of Justice, a building that is based about 10 minutes walk from our law school. So we're probably the most prestigious location for a law school in the whole of UK. But we also linked with, for example, the Royal Academy of Engineering or, for example, the British Heart Foundation. And of course, aside of the professional opportunities and aside of academics, London is a fantastic student city. It's got so much to offer. So whether you have a hobby already and that you would like to continue with in London, or perhaps there is something completely new that you would like to try, London will definitely offer you a lot of opportunities. Now, a group of students that definitely makes the most of those opportunities is our student union. The student union is run by students and for students, and we offer over 300 different societies. And this is a chance for you to get involved with stuff that really means something to you. So that could be to do with your future career, for example, investment banking society. It could be to do with the cause, for example, Amnesty International or Eco Society. But it could be a simple hobby, so dancing, singing, baking, Harry Potter, photography, knitting, whatever it is that you would like to do or you like doing. It's very easy to find other students who share your passion and make sure you make the most of London together. Okay, so what's it like to study at King's? We are a generalist university, which means we offer our degrees in 5 main areas of studies, and this is STEM, health, politics and social sciences, law, management and business, and arts and humanities. Of course, each of those areas will offer you a number of different degrees. Some of them you will find across different universities in UK. Some of them will be very specific to King's. And of course, each one of those degrees can lead to a number of very interesting careers. And this is the examples of careers that our alumni are doing now. They have graduated from King's. So this is just a taster of what might await for you once you graduate. Because we're a generalist university, a lot of our teaching is interdisciplinary, which means we either spread the degree across different disciplines or we fit different disciplines across inside one degree. So some examples of how that might look like. With some of our degrees, we will offer our students major and minor, and that's where you do 2/3 of modules from the major degree and 1/3 of modules from a different area. And that's, for example, mathematics with management. With some degrees, we offer more of a half and a half split. And that's, for example, neuroscience and psychology. With some other degrees, you will be able to choose pathway to really specialize within one area. And geography, for example, offers 5 different pathways across human, urban, and physical geography. Some of our degrees you'll find are multidisciplinary by nature. So, for example, war studies, which is very specific to King's. It's the combination of politics, international relations, history, and philosophy. But most of you will find the interdisciplinarity of our teaching through the selection of modules on your very degree. And I would urge you to have a look at the program structure on our website for the degree you're interested in and really look through the modules we're offering, because you're going to find some very interesting ones. So to give you an example, for our medicine students, of course, we want them to be doctors, but we also want them to know about ethics or medical law, for example. And our economics students, for instance, have a choice of modules such as health economics or the economics of crime. Oh, I'm really sorry, my presentation is a little bit stuck. If you just give me a couple of minutes for my computer to unfreeze, I'm really sorry about that. I think we're back. So I've already talked about the interdisciplinarity of the teaching. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is research. I already mentioned that this is something that's very important here at King's. And that's very important for you as well, because the very people that go into the world, people that find new things, that pioneer, and these are the very people that will teach you. So you really get the first-hand information from the industry leaders. For undergraduate students, we also have fantastic opportunities for you to join our research from the moment you join King's. If there's a research that is of your interest and you support the PhD student or a professor with their research, your name gets on the paper when the research gets published. But most importantly, you get to practice when you have to conduct research throughout your own studies. A few examples of what we're researching on at the moment, or the research that have been conducted in recent months at King's. I picked 4 examples that have to do with coronavirus, because that's obviously on our minds. I just wanted to show you how diverse we are. And although you probably think coronavirus, this is going to be a medical research, actually only one of those research have anything to do with medicine. So The first research comes from our School of Biomedical Sciences, which paired up with University of Oxford and created Ox events, which are an alternative to COVID-19 ventilators, or the oxygen ventilators. And this device have been created and designed to fulfill the shortages of ventilators that we have been experiencing in the UK while treating the COVID-19 patients. This research comes from our International Relations Department, and it has to do with links between the populism and pandemic. And our researchers are looking at why the populist leaders such as Bolsonaro in Brazil or Trump in America have struggled so much to contain the virus in their own countries. Our School of Digital Humanities is looking at long-term effects of COVID-19 on our digital behavior, and they're looking at how our interactions, both professional and personal, will be shaped in the future because of the impact of the pandemic. And our School of Communication and Education is looking at the pandemic and language. So there are some new words that haven't really been in use before, and they have now permanently entered our dictionaries. So they're looking at how the language is changing because of the pandemic. So a few more reasons why you might want to choose King's. We've got state-of-art facilities, and we offer so much across different degrees to our students. And I've prepared just a few examples here, but there's of course a lot more. So starting from the fact that we are very well known for our medical sciences and medically related sciences, and our labs, our laboratories are state-of-the-art, so much so that the London police is actually using them as the crime labs. So some of our researchers are the real-life CSI, and they work on improving forensic methods and solving criminal cases. We also analyze both domestic and international athletes for doping and anti-doping campaigns on our campuses. For our physics students, we've got rooftop observatory and telescope. For those who are thinking about economics or business, we've got Bloomberg terminals and virtual trading floors. If you want to study medicine, for example, or medically related degrees, we've got dissecting room and virtual dissection tables. And now I believe we're one of only 4 universities in UK that use real human bodies from body donors and dissecting room, which might sound really gruesome, but it's really invaluable way to learn if you're thinking of being a doctor. We also have advanced brain scan facilities for psychology and neuroscience students. And this black and green picture you can see on the bottom of the page is a picture of a brain cell that is taken by one of our scans. And of course, our campuses are absolutely incredible, but we also use the world around us to learn. So geography students, for example, get to go on the trips to places like Morocco, USA. Our business students get connected with small and medium businesses around our campuses, and they work with the business owners to help them solve everyday issues, and that could be HR, finance, social media, and whatever else they might need help with. And that really gives our students a great chance to learn what it really like to run a business on a day-to-day basis. For law students, we have opened a legal clinic in association with PwC, where our students get to work under the supervision of trained PwC lawyers. We also have mooting for our law students, which is a mock trial proceedings. For psychology students, we've got placements in the secure hospital wards and secure prison wards. We also have partners. We call it King's Health Partners. We partner with a number of hospitals and health clinics around the city, which offers opportunity for our health students. And we are official air quality forecaster for the City of London. So if you're thinking of doing research within that field, we can definitely provide you with some opportunities to get involved in this. So moving on to the professional opportunities that King's has to offer. And I'm going to start from talking about London, because again, it's such a fantastic city, but it's also a very unique city. So if you think of USA, you've got Silicon Valley in California, you've got New York with finance, you've got Washington with politics. In London, all of those industries are in one city, so that really opens opportunities that might not be available anywhere else. We also offer a set of professional skills development courses. So this is for our students to improve or develop soft skills, and that could be teamwork, that could be leadership or communication, for example. For those students who come to us with their business ideas, we've got Entrepreneurship Institute, and these guys will help you turn your business idea into actual business. We have a number of internships, global internships and work placements available across different degrees. We also have a career hub, and this is to support our students with career guidance, no matter where they might be geographically. And of course, this is something that's very important at King's as well, is the events, the career fairs and networking nights, and this is where the representatives from organizations around us, they come to our campuses, they want to speak to our students. This is a great opportunity for you to explore the sort of organizations that you would want to work for, to explore what other organizations are available within the field you want to go to. This is a good opportunity to start building connections, to find out what they're looking for from a future employee, what they're looking for an interview. It's a really, really great opportunity to start connecting with the organizations thinking of applying for a job in the future. And what other global opportunities we offer? Study abroad. This is where you can spend a year abroad or a semester abroad, or sometimes if that's not a possibility, you can still do a summer abroad program. You can go and learn a little bit more about other university and complete a couple of modules there. We also have global internships, and that's where our students go and spend summer working for an international organization. And students in the past have gone to Asia, a number of European countries, and USA. And we also have a modern language center, which offers students opportunity to learn one of the 26 different languages that we offer. Some degrees offer that as a part of the degree, with some of them you do it as alongside your main degree. If you would like to know more about work experience, we've got a King's Careers blog. So if you want to know what sort of organizations our students ended up with and what their experience was like, please do have a look at this page and read a little bit more. There's also a girl you can see in the right bottom corner, a girl with a long dark hair. Her name is Gökçe. She's actually from Turkey. She's an international management student, and I'll talk about her a little bit more towards the end of the presentation. But you can connect with her to our platform called Unibody. So if you have any questions about internships and about work opportunities, I would strongly suggest reaching out to her because she is a fantastic source of information for future students. Last but not least, I wanted to talk about volunteering. Making the world a better place is something that's really important at King's, and we would love you to be the part of that. And I've prepared 3 examples of what sort of volunteering opportunities we do have. King's Sierra Leone partnership that works to improve healthcare in Sierra Leone. And some of our global health and social medicine and medicine students have gone to support that partnership. King's Sanctuary program, which focuses on the global issue of forced displacement. And you can see in the on the bottom picture, one of our dental students who have gone to places like Bangladesh and Lebanon to provide free dental health care to refugee children. Last but not least, Hot Chocolate Society. This is a lot closer home, and this is these guys focus on the problem of homelessness in London, and some of their actions included food distribution and outreach sessions. So moving on to application. I'm going to start from undergraduate applications. All of the undergraduate applications have to come to us through UCAS. So you apply through UCAS, which is the central application body in UK, and UCAS sends your application to 5 degrees of your choice on your behalf. What we look for from undergraduate students is entry requirements. Make sure you match exactly what we're asking for, especially when it comes to subject requirements, because the same degree at different universities might have different subject requirements. We will need your transcript. We will need a reference from your teacher. We've got extra tests for law, which is LNAT, and medicine, which is UCAT. Again, this could be different from different universities, so make sure you check with every university you apply for. When it comes to interviews, we do interview for everything that is medically related. We don't offer interviews for anything else. So if you're applying for business management or psychology, there is no interviews. In terms of work experience, we require students to have a clinical work experience for those degrees that are medically related. Anything else, you do not need an experience. So if you have experience, that's fine. Like again, if you're applying for business management, for example, or for law, you don't actually need any work experience. And of course, personal statement, that's a very important part of your application, but I will speak about that in a couple of slides. So how do you apply for the PG programs? You need to make your application directly on our website. We will need your transcript. We will need the references. On some degrees, we will need 1 reference, on some others 2. So always check the website. Personal statements. We could need additional requirements or additional documents, for example, writing sample and stuff like that. So check the website for the degree you are thinking about to make sure you have all of the documents that are required. And again, work experience. For most of our degrees, we don't need work experience, but if we do, that will be specified on the website. And for our PG students, we open application in October, and the deadline is 31st of March. And it takes on average 6 weeks to process the application. The later you apply, the longer it will take to process your application, especially for the very competitive program. So I will suggest applying a little bit before the deadline. So personal statement, what do we need for? We need 4,000 characters or 47 lines. It sounds like a lot, but it's not, so make sure you use this space wisely. We're looking at around 75% of your content to be relevant to your academics. So that could be an extra reading you've done, an exhibition you attended, it could be any TED Talks you listened to, and other podcast. So anything that is directly related to the degree of your choice, that needs to take the 75%. Now, anything else that make you who you are, so for example, if you have achievements in music, if you have achievements in sport, if you've done any voluntary work, we still want to hear about it, but you have the 25%, not more, of your statement to talk to us about that. What we want to know, we want to know your motivation and your enthusiasm. So we want to know why do you want to study this particular degree and what excites you about that degree. For postgraduate students, we also want to know why you want to study at King's. For undergraduate students, you never ever put any university name, because this one personal statement would go to all 5 of your choices. So for undergraduate students, only talk about the program, and for postgraduate students, we want to know about the program, but we also want to know why King's. If you have an idea of what you want to do after you graduate, or for postgraduate students, if this is the advancement of your career, then please talk to us about that. We also want to know about how are you prepared to study this degree, so what makes you the best candidate. And now I would suggest making a long list of everything that you've done and then picking only a few things, only the things that are the most relevant and the most impressive. And in your personal statements, talk about few things, but talk about those few things in detail rather than talk about a lot of things with no detail. Just to give you an example of how important the personal statement is, we have 150 different degrees at King's, And last year we received 52,000 applications. But out of those 52,000 applications, half of them were only for 14 degrees. And so the top 3 degrees are business management, law, and medicine. But all 14 degrees will be very, very competitive. So just to give you an example, if you have several students applying for one spot, most of them would have met entry requirements. So the only way you can differentiate yourself from others is your personal statement. So it's extremely important to make those look good and make sure they represent you the best they can. So moving on to accommodation, we have 2 accommodation options. One is King's Residences, which is for King's students only. The other one is the University of London halls, and these are shared between University of London institutions. So if you want to have a neighbor from LSE or UCL, you can opt for that option. This is where our accommodation is based. So you can see the 3 red dots just north of the river. That's Strand Campus and Business School. Right across the water is Waterloo Campus. There is the Santomas and Guy's Campus on both sides of Waterloo. That's the 2 medical campuses. And Denmark Hill, that's the Institute of Psychology, Psychiatry, and Neuroscience. Now, all of the blue dots south of the river, these are all King's Residences, so these are all just for King's students. And then 2 blue dots north of the river, so Angel Lane in the top corner, and Urban Est, just above Guy's Campus. These are also King's Residences, so these are just for King's students as well. Now the cluster of blue dots just above Strand Campus next to Regent's Park, these are the University of London halls. So if you want to share with other universities, this is where you will be based. So just the last slide I have for you, it's Unibody. I've already mentioned that when I talked about Gokce and about the King's Careers Portal. This is a fantastic platform for you to connect with current students. You can find someone that comes from your country or someone who was studying what you want to study. Some of our academics are on there as well. So this is a great way to find out more about personal statements, about the program itself, about internships, anything really that you would like to know. I would strongly suggest connecting and using that resource to the best advantage. Okay, so this is all from me. And I will now have a look at the question tabs. Okay, so the first question, what should we do? Joining clubs, competitions, etc. in high school for making an application, being part of this school? Yes, so I would suggest doing stuff that you enjoy doing, but that is also connected with the program that you want to study. So if you want to do politics, for example, doing something like debating club could be quite good. So just think about how the stuff that you do at your school, how does that relate to the program of your studies, and try to talk about that. But yeah, definitely recommend doing more than just the academic stuff, so you have something to talk about in your personal statements, and you can also talk about those transferable skills such as teamwork, leadership, communication, things that are important on pretty much any degree. The next question is, could you give information about master's program, especially about architectural landscape architecture? Okay, this is going to be a short answer because we don't actually have architectural landscape architecture, so I do apologize about that. Probably won't be the best choice of university for you because we don't offer anything in that area. And the next question. Okay, I was expecting that question at some point. Do you have a plan for COVID-19 next year? Will the school open next year? So we don't actually know. We want to wait till the last minute before we make the decision. So we are fully preparing to open our campuses to our students from September. So we're hoping we can have you, we can have you all on our campuses. Our option B is what we've done for most of this year, which is blended learning. And that gave students a choice. If students wanted to remain in their own country, they could, but if they wanted to come to our campuses, they had a mix of online and face-to-face teaching. And of course, at the moment we're in lockdown, so everything is happening only online. So the next year plan, it's kind of we are hoping for the best, but preparing for the worst. So we're hoping we can open as normal, and that will always be our first choice. But of course, that will depend on how the pandemic will go. The next question, are AP classes helpful for admission to the school? And also, are there any scholarships that are provided by school? Yes, so if you're doing APs, you need 5 APs. So if you have 5 APs, then you can apply for the school. Also, you can have 3 APs and the SAT reasoning test, and that will also allow you to be admitted directly to the university. So these are the 2 choices with APs. So yes, very helpful. In terms of scholarships, we do have some scholarships. We don't have too many scholarships. Please have a look at fees and funding page for undergraduate students. There is all of our scholarships will be listed. I will send a link on the end of this presentation as well. I will send a link to the chat room for all of you, and you can have a look browse through everything that we have on offer, and see if you can qualify for anything. So next question, are there any need-based scholarships? So again, yes, we have some scholarships. Some of them are merit-based, some of them are need-based. There isn't that many of them, so stuff like business management and medicine wouldn't have any scholarships. We have some for example, for like geography or global health and social medicine. I would suggest having a look on the website fees and funding page where all of the scholarships are listed. The next one, would IB diploma increase our chance to be accepted to the college or increase our chance to have financial aid? No, so it wouldn't do either one of those things. The financial aid, it's not based on the type of qualification you're taking. It's based sometimes on nationality and sometimes on the subject that you're planning to study. Or whether you've done IBs or AP or A levels, it wouldn't make a difference. Similarly to being accepted to the college, we accept a number of qualifications, and all of the qualifications that we accept have the same value. So whether you're doing A levels or IB, one isn't looked at as better than others, so they have the same or they have the equal value. Okay, so Fatma is asking, I want to study psychology and neuroscience master program in KCL. Could you please inform me about job opportunities, fees, and scholarships, cost of living in London? So scholarships, again, I will suggest having a look at the scholarships we have available on the page. And the fees are also stated. Our master's programs, if I'm not mistaken, the psychology one around £28,000, but again, have a look on the website. In terms of cost of living in London, that's a great question as well. We recommend around £1,200 to £1,400 a month, and that's on top of your fees, and that will be for your accommodation, transport, for your books, for your food. And so as long as you don't take Uber everywhere, and as long as you don't eat in a restaurant every day, £1,200 to £1,400 should be enough to last you a month. And the next question is from Mehmet. How many IELTS points do we need to study business at King's College? So IELTS for business is 7.0 overall, with at least 6.5 in each skill. Okay, next question. My education track record hasn't very well, but I'd like to join for a master's program in finance area. So what is request to join to King's College and be a student there? So I don't remember on top of my head the entry requirements for every program. However, one thing that I do remember is that the finance programs, or one thing that I do know, the finance program masters are amongst the most competitive. So they are quite difficult to get into. So if you don't have a very strong educational track record, then you are unlikely to be admitted. So do have a look on the website and make sure that you meet the entry requirements in terms of GPA, because the finance programs are unlikely to consider anyone whose entry requirements or whose diploma doesn't meet the entry requirements. Hassan is asking, do you accept BTEC certificate? So we don't require BTEC certificate for any of our degrees. If you're applying for something like, medicine or maths or anything like that, you can submit your BTEC diploma or your BTEC certificate to strengthen your application, but we don't require BTEC for any of our programs. Ibusa is asking, are there any good options to study in science, especially in genetics, biology, and biochemistry? Okay, so we have a very strong biochemistry program. We also have genetics, we also have biology, we have more of like an anatomy program. But generally speaking, the sciences are a very strong part of King's. So you can really find a really interesting degrees in all three of them. So I would suggest having a look, again, I'm going to refer you back to the website, and have a look at the program structure for all three of genetics. We don't have biology per se, so it will be an anatomy program and also biochemistry. So have a look at the module structure, because these are very strong of our selection of programs. These are the very strong ones and very interesting ones. So the next question from IPEC is PhD and Masters in Architectural Department. So we don't do architecture at all. So that's, again, it's a quick question. We don't have architecture programs at King's. Senna is asking, I am a second-year law student. I want to complete my remaining education at King's College. Is that possible? What would you recommend me to do? So it's unlikely to be transferred from your university to King's. So what I would suggest to do is apply from year one. So you would be losing a year, but basically you would start from the beginning, from the start at King's. So you have to make your application via UCAF, just as if you were just making, as if you were just graduating high school, and apply from the start, because it's unlikely for the law students to be transferred onto a year two. Mehmet is asking, when can we bring 6.5 IELTS points last? So I'm not too sure if I understood this question correctly, but if you're asking when you need to submit your IELTS have to be submitted usually in the summer before you study, so you don't actually need your IELTS to apply. You can apply without the IELTS, and then we can issue you with a conditional offer, and in your offer letter it will be stated when do we need to see your IELTS. So Alper is asking if there are any scholarships in the Department of Sociology. So again, we don't actually have a sociology program. We've got social sciences, which is not quite the same. So have a look again at the programs that we have to offer. and see if there is anything else that will interest you because we don't actually do sociology. Okay, I think that's all the questions. I'm going to, for those who joined the presentation late, I'm going to repost a link in the chat room. For those of you who want to keep in touch with Kings, I would suggest completing that form. This will allow you to invite you to some events that we run. Sometimes we do subject presentations. Sometimes you can connect with current students, with alumni. So we will inform you about all of those via email. And also if there's any updates on your degree, so if there is any news, anything that we think our future students should know, we will also send you those information. So if you want to keep in touch with us, I would suggest signing up. And doesn't seem there's any more doesn't seem that there's any more questions. Well, if there's no more questions, I wanted to say thank you so much for coming this afternoon, and thank you so much for spending this almost an hour of your time with me. I hope there was something new that you've learned today, and I hope that this presentation perhaps made your choice a little bit easier. And if you have any more questions as well, I'm just going to share my email address. Please feel free to either find me on Unibody or to reach out to me directly, and I will be happy to help with anything you want. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Paulina, for your presentation. We believe it was a really informative webinar for the attendees, and you put a real effort answering all of the questions.
You're very, very welcome. It's been a pleasure to be with you guys. Thank you for organizing this.
Also, I would like to thank the participants in Turkish as well. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Kings College London ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için Paulina'nın paylaşmış olduğu mail adresinden ve linkten iletişime geçebilirsiniz. Aynı zamanda biz 6'daki webinarımıza da davet etmek isteriz. Thank you again, Paulina, very much. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFT Talks.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.